Hey, Tom Rabbit! I hope you got this for your recording. Hey, YouTube out there. Tom Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit!
And if you don't have an ultimate to assert, then you don't have a basis by which you can assert any fact at all, because facts derive and depend upon a metaphysical reality, which you said already. You said already that you agreed is necessary. So epistemologically speaking, you're in no better of a position than someone who holds to the inane position that there is nothing metaphysically primary, because you don't have anything to reference.
Okay, so I appreciate it.
Do you accept that? Do you accept?
So,
Hold on a minute, Jeff. Do you accept that?
no.
If you don't, okay. Do you have a rebuttal to that?
Okay. Yeah, I would love to speak if I can.
What's your rebuttal? Go ahead.
I was very patient and allowed you to speak. So nowhere in anything that I said in my conversation to you tonight have I referenced anything about a belief in a God, and you have repeatedly talked about a God and these properties that he has to have. And my question was about this metaphysically primary thing, whatever.
Okay, Jeff.
You,
Jeff, I just presented to you a clear knockdown case, okay, against atheism. It's an ironclad
okay,
position. You said you had a
I'm
rebuttal to
not.
it. So do you
How?
have a defeater for my or a rebuttal to my case?
Yeah, I'm very curious about this metaphysically primary thing. I didn't come in here to talk about atheism or God. I've not even mentioned
I
those
didn't hear an
terms.
answer
And
to
you,
his question. He just asked you a direct question. He said, "Do you have a defeater?"
well, I'm not even here arguing a point
Why? All
about
right, listen.
atheist.
Did he not ask you a question?
Well, yeah, and the
Did
answer,
you did you
the answer,
evade did you
the answer to the
evade did you evade the question?
no, because the answer to the question is neither.
Yes you did. No,
Because
yes you did.
the answer to the question is neither the options that he
You
gave
didn't
me.
answer. Listen to me carefully.
The answer to the
Stop,
question.
Jeff, stop
Oh, jeez.
lying. Don't overtalk me. You are
Don't
now
overtalk me.
lying.
You interrupted me. I was having a good
Jeff, I'm making
conversation
a
with
point of
JRobin.
moderation.
Darth is
I'm
white
making
knighting now. Darth's white
I'm
knighting
not
now.
listen, now what you're doing is you see you put
Now
on
what
this
I'm
little
doing.
act. If you
Now what I'm
stop please
doing.
over talking, then I'll
No, I'm
have to
not.
mute your
No, you
microphone.
interrupted. Put me down.
Okay, there. I muted your microphone. I'm making a point of moderation. JRobin asked you a direct question, and you deliberately dodged the question. You did not. You responded verbally, but you did not answer the question. Now, Jay, would you repeat the question that he dodged?
Yeah, so I presented to you the transcendental, and I made the case for the transcendental necessity of God, for knowledge, for rationality, for intelligibility. You said you had a rebuttal to that, so I want to hear what is your rebuttal that God cannot either be ultimate or a mind?
Yeah, I didn't say I had a rebuttal. I said to you that
Yes,
that
you
was
did.
not the reason for my. Oh my gosh. Okay, if I said that, I apologize. The reason I want to have this conversation with you is I'm very curious about this metaphysical primary thing, and I'm being very honest and wanting to have that conversation about the metaphysical primary thing. I have never once mentioned God or atheism or anything else, and I'm asking questions about this metaphysically primary thing, and you have mentioned God and atheism several times, and I'm trying to honestly ask you questions about this metaphysically primary thing. I would like to have that conversation. If you would prefer to talk with someone else about a God belief or atheism, then I would be glad to leave. But I would like to talk about this metaphysically primary thing if you want to have that conversation with me.
Okay, what do you want to know?
Okay. So you've made a lot of claims, it seems to me, of what you claim that this metaphysically primary thing must be. As I've heard you say that it must be a mind, it must be revelatory, it must be all of these things, right? Um, and I do agree that I have to have some basis for even having this conversation with you, right? Some metaphysical primary thing outside of myself that I think is true to even want to engage in a conversation, that this is real. So I guess I hear you talk about it being a mind. I hear you saying these things, and you assert them, and you say it as they must be facts.
I'm not hearing a
And
clear
I don't.
question, Jeff.
So what is it? Can you give me an argument as to why this metaphysically primary thing must be this unembodied mind?
I just
Is there
did. So, like Jeff, I
really?
anticipated your question before you even asked it, right? Because I was hearing the question. You've asked me the question before, and I've answered your question before. And I answered the question as to why God is why the transcendental necessity of God is actual. Okay, and that is because God grounds our epistemological reality. God grounds not only
That's a
the
claim. That's a
ontological,
claim.
but the
That's a
epistemological
claim.
reality. Listen, Jeff, please. I substantiated the claim by showing that if God were not to be revelatory, the only thing we'd be left with is our own finite, limited, first-person subjective experience. Do you
No,
not do
you
do
wouldn't
you
even,
dispute that?
Jay, you
Is
wouldn't
there
even
is
have,
there is there
you wouldn't
is there
even
is there
have that, Jay. Okay? You wouldn't even
is there
have
Right,
first person subjective
this,
experience.
yeah, it's worse than that,
Okay?
really.
Yeah.
is there a is there do you see some fundamental problem
Jeff,
with
can
can
you
I ask a
instance?
question?
Could
Can I ask
you?
a
Well,
question?
let me just.
Can I ask a
I wanted to
question?
add. There was a
Before you
question. There was
before
a question I wanted to.
I was
All right,
asking
go
you a
ahead. Go
question and
ahead,
you
Jeff.
interrupted
Go
me.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is there a problem with people using subjectivity to determine um, uh, what may or may
I
not be
don't even know what that
true?
question. I don't even know what that question means.
Subjectivity wouldn't be me making a determination. It would just simply
Right.
be a particular mental state in a time index.
I agree.
It
So,
would have no connectiveness or correlativeness to any other state of affairs, objectively.
well, but I guess we have to determine if there is something that is objective. I suppose. I guess is that the fundamental question that we're struggling with? Is that there must be
Yes.
something that's objective?
Well, yeah, we're talking about the metaphysical nature of reality. Okay, that's outside of your. It's not your. Not you. So we're not talking about no. Um,
You're roboting again.
your nihilistic.
I can't hear you, Jay. You've gone off now. You roboted for a second. Now you're gone.
Am I better now?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Um, can you establish that anything is eternal?
Can I establish that anything is eternal? No. No, I cannot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if something is ultimate, it's going to be eternal, right? It's going to be without beginning, without end, correct? That's
That's
just
a
an entailment,
claim. That's a
not
claim.
necessarily.
That's a claim.
Well, no, it's just
Can
necessarily entailed, right?
no, it's not.
If something is, well, I'll explain it to you then.
Give me the
If something is
argument.
ultimate, right, it means that it's going to be the source and basis for all things, right? If something is began to exist, right? So that would negate it being ultimate. Then whatever existed prior to that, logically or chronologically, it's either that thing or whatever that is beholden to that would be ultimate, correct? Because then it would be the basis by which, or the realm in which that thing exists.
Hang on. I think what you're asking me is if let me get wrap my head around it. Something something
It would be a
ultimate.
contingent thing if it began to exist, either some sort of a brute contingency or some sort of a it would be contingent upon something else for its actuality because it began to exist. And what we're talking about is not a contingency, we're talking about an
I
ultimate.
okay. I'm not convinced there is an ultimate. I'm open to the idea that there may be an ultimate, but I'm really not convinced that there
Jeff,
has to be an.
that's not what we're
I'm
talking
being
about right now.
well. I don't know how to. If you're telling me there must be
We're
an
talking
ultimate,
about
and I'm
eternality and why eternality is an entailment of
Okay,
something being ultimate. That's what we're talking
you're
about.
not open to it, and let me tell you why. Okay, this is the
okay.
same sort of thing that PZ Myers said to me. Okay, when I said to PZ, do you know who PZ Myers is?
No, hey, can I just
Do
be
you
honest?
know who PZ Myers is?
And I said no. And can I qualify
Okay,
my
so
no?
so
Can I
so
may I
hey,
may
so
I may I expand
no, you may
expand
not.
on my
No, you may. Wow,
but
Jeff, you are one argumentative person. Okay,
I just wanted to say one
you
thing as a clarification.
turn your civility on and off
I
when it
just
suits your purposes.
I
Why do you
just wanted to,
continue to talk while I'm talking? You do
because I
this
wanted to
almost
clarify,
every single time I talk. Why are you continuing to talk?
because you
Are
asked
you
me a
okay? All
question
right.
and you wouldn't
Okay,
let me
this is what he wants. Okay, have it your way.
expand.
Okay, you're gone. All right, you're gone.
Yeah.
You know what? You're a
Okay.
fake. You're a phony, and you're a fraud. Okay. All right.
Wow. Okay. Sure.
Are you going to stop, or do I have to kick you?
I just wanted to be allowed the
Are
opportunity
you
to
going to
expand.
stop, or do I have to kick you?
Yeah, Jeff,
I hope you don't
Jeff,
kick me.
Okay,
please.
goodbye. You're
Jeff,
done.
please, come
All
on.
right. Okay. So no, Jeff is an asshole all the time. And then he goes in other rooms and claims how he was just trying to have a civil conversation. Jeff is an outright liar. Okay, right? He turns his civility on and off when it suits his purposes. Okay, and what he's doing is death by 1,000 cuts. Okay, everything is a qualification. Everything is a definitional question with this guy. They want to play this little game, right? Notice how he kept on saying to you, JRobin, that's a claim, right? So Jeff, I've dealt with him on dozens of occasions. He's one of the more deceitful atheists that you will come across on Clubhouse. Okay? And then he always pretends like he's being Mr. Cordial. He wasn't cordial. He was constantly cutting Jay off. He was constantly over talking me, right? And what he does is he turns the cordiality off at certain point so that he can stalemate the conversation. And I'm done with my rant.
Yeah, well, you get people who will turn things on, their trolling behavior on and off, and it's like a switch, and that's even worse than people who are overt and outright trolls, because then you're dealing with really deceptive and devious people. So, but Arsalan, are you an atheist?
Yeah, I am an atheist. Okay.
Did you get that, Tom Rabbit?